Did you know that right now, millions of Americans are quietly waiting on a Social Security payment that's arriving on a very specific date, and if you don't know whether that date applies to you, you could spend days wondering where your money is? If you're 55 or older and rely on Social Security, this video is your personal guide to exactly what's happening on March 25, 2026. Stick around, hit that like button if this helps you, and let us know in the comments, when does your payment usually arrive? Now, let's get right into it, because this is genuinely important information that every Social Security recipient deserves to know clearly and simply, no confusing government language, no runaround. Just the real facts, explained the way a good neighbor would explain them over a cup of coffee. So here's what's going on. The Social Security Administration doesn't send everyone their payment on the same day. You might have already noticed this over the years. Maybe your neighbor mentioned she got her deposit on the 11th, and yours doesn't come until later in the month. That's not a mistake. That's actually the system working exactly as it was designed. The SSA staggers payment dates throughout the month, and the date you receive your benefit is tied directly to your birthday. Not the year you were born, just the day of the month. And that brings us to March 25, 2026. This date is specifically set aside for a very particular group of Social Security recipients. If your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st of your birth month, say you were born on the 23rd, the 27th, or even New Year's Eve on the 31st, then March 25th is your payment day this month. Mark it on your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, or jot it down on the notepad by the kitchen phone. That money is coming, and knowing exactly when helps you plan your groceries, your bills, your life. Now, this applies to a pretty broad group of people. We're not just talking about retirement benefits here. If you receive Social Security disability benefits, what's officially called SSDI, and your birthday falls in that 21st through 31st window, you're also in this group. The same goes for survivors' benefits, which are the benefits paid to widows, widowers, and dependents of workers who have passed away. So whether you worked for 40 years and earned your retirement, or you're receiving benefits based on a loved one's work record, the birthday rule still applies, with one important exception we'll talk about in just a moment. There's also a timing requirement worth understanding. The March 25th payment schedule generally applies to people who began receiving their Social Security benefits after May of 1997. If that sounds like a strange cutoff, there's actually a good reason for it. Back in the 1990s, the SSA transitioned to this staggered birthday-based payment system. Before that change, everyone was essentially lumped into a much simpler schedule. So if you've been receiving benefits for a very long time, and some of you watching have been, bless you, your payment schedule might look a little different, and we'll get to that too. Now, here's that important exception I mentioned. Some of you receive your benefits not based on your own work record, but based on someone else's, perhaps a spouse or a parent. In those cases, here's what you need to remember: the payment date is determined by that person's birthday, not yours. So if you're receiving spousal benefits and your husband or wife was born on the 5th of the month, your payment schedule follows their birthday, placing you in an earlier payment group. It's a detail that trips a lot of people up, and it's completely understandable why. The system wasn't exactly designed with simplicity in mind. But once you know this, it all starts to make a lot more sense. Let's take a step back and look at the full picture of March 2026 payments, because context is everything. The very first payment of the month went out on March 3rd. That payment was for two specific groups: people who have been receiving Social Security since before May 1997, and people who receive both Social Security and Supplemental Security income, what most people call SSI. If you're in either of those categories, your March payment should already be in your account or in the mail. Then came March 11th. That payment date was for beneficiaries whose birthdays fall between the 1st and the 10th of their birth month. So if you were born on the 3rd, the 7th, or the 10th, March 11th was your day. Right after that, on March 18th, payments went out to everyone with birthdays between the 11th and the 20th. And now, completing the cycle, March 25th takes care of those born between the 21st and the 31st. It's a neat, orderly system, for groups, for payment dates, spread across the month so the banking system isn't overwhelmed and everyone gets their money in a timely, predictable way. And speaking of SSI specifically, there's a little wrinkle worth knowing about this month. Normally, SSI payments arrive on the 1st of each month. But because March 1st, 2026 fell on a Sunday, the SSA did something they often do in these situations: they issued the SSI payment early, on February 27th. So if you receive SSI and you noticed a deposit at the end of February, that wasn't an error, that was your March payment arriving ahead of schedule. It's a thoughtful adjustment, but it can absolutely catch people off guard if they're not expecting it. It's worth pausing here to appreciate just how many people we're talking about. Tens of millions of Americans depend on these payments every single month. For many seniors, Social Security isn't a supplement, it is the budget. It covers rent, utilities, prescriptions, and groceries. When you understand exactly when your payment is coming, you can plan with confidence. You're not left checking your bank account nervously every morning wondering if today's the day. You know. And that knowledge, as simple as it sounds, can genuinely reduce stress and bring a little more peace into your daily life. So if you've been unsure about your payment date, or if you've been worrying that something might be wrong, take a deep breath. The system is running on schedule. And if March 25th is your date, your payment is on its way. As we head into the final part of this video, we're going to wrap everything up with a clear summary and a few practical tips to help you stay on top of your Social Security payments going forward, because you deserve to feel informed, confident, and in control of your financial life every single month.